Never thought that I would be doing something like this.
Me
This
neither.
is so
I
ridiculous.
had one other situation where a guy was like at the gun range. He was
Uh-huh.
really into like training people, trying to get them more efficient with their weapon. And he
Yeah.
was like, "Bro, I'm gonna start a channel. You to be a guest, and we're gonna have certain people in and out, but I want you to be one of the main staples." But we never
Yeah.
got started.
It never got started. He
Never
never
got
pulled the
started.
trigger on it.
Nah, we just go
I
to the
feel like that's
range.
I feel like that's a lot of people though, because
I was sitting here thinking about
there's a
that.
lot of people that like have, I don't know, aspirations and bigger dreams and that, but like pulling the trigger is like so hard.
It's a
It's
real.
like such a ridiculous thing to do because there's nobody on the stream. There's not going to be anybody on the streams probably for a long time. Really, this is just for, staple content for later.
Like
Um,
like the start. Like this is where
like
we
get the
started.
start, get the communication flowing, and then maybe we can get some reels out of this for some like content reach out. But like it's not like I got my face on here, and it's just gonna
It's
I'm just
weird,
gonna
right?
look I'm just gonna look absolutely stupid for
Not
a really
stupid.
long
It's gonna
time.
be the first try. That's all it's gonna be.
But
You're gonna
no,
look like
I
a
mean,
newbie.
for a while, it's like, the people that are in like the too close of circle that will, that kind of know you are, maybe from high school or
Right.
whatever, which I could care less what any of those people would say regardless,
It's gonna be the niche that finds that person.
but they'll see the stuff because I'm going to have a Facebook and everything, and every single one of my platforms are going to be posting this kind of thing. Um, so that's
Hopefully, drawing in the audience.
Yeah, but like, if there's an audience that's looking for growth and looking for people going in a direction, trying to make something out of nothing, that's the people that are interested in this and then want to stick around.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So you had another guy that was trying to start a channel,
Yeah,
but
he was
he,
super. Oh yeah, but like, so when we was pulling out the parking lot, I was just thinking about that, like prior to us saying it. So I was like, when I was gonna tell my fiance, I was like, before we was thinking about starting it, but Dylan is more. I don't know. He wants it now. So
yeah,
we spoke about it last week, and now we started today.
yeah,
The last time it was like we talked about it for 4 weeks. It ended
yeah,
up being 6 weeks.
yeah,
Kind of fizzled out.
yeah. Well, man, there's this business guy. I showed you him a while. His name is Alex Ramosi, but he had this one video where he was talking about the more, if you thought of someone that's like all powerful, as soon as they think about something, it would happen. It would just like be presented in reality. If you think about like a God being, so like you can make yourself more potent, a more powerful person by changing the time it takes you to make a decision.
Being decisive.
But God, I hate doing that because I like being very, very thorough
Same.
in my decision making. So I'll pick it apart until I'm like absolutely
Super tough.
sure. Yeah, absolutely sure that this is what I should be doing with this time.
This is another one of those things where we so much alike because I usually want to when I feel like when I rush into something or when I just jump in, I end up breaking stuff because I don't know the rules of the boundaries. Like
Gotcha.
because I used to always
Yeah.
put together cards.
Yeah.
Like at any time I didn't follow the instructions, I would skip past one. Like this makes sense to go here. I
Yeah.
would break it, and then when I go back slower, rethinking it, all I had to do was take my time and just assemble it.
Yeah.
Like in an orderly fashion.
I feel like I did the same thing with doors.
Mm-hmm.
Like before you were with us, really a long time ago. It's been a good minute now, but there wasn't a lot of leads that really just wanted to take the time and show you step by step, like the process of doing all the installation. So I would just like, well, no one's gonna show me. I want to learn. I'm gonna figure it out myself, and I would read the instructions and whatnot, but it wouldn't always turn out, and then I would have to go back through, figure out what I did wrong, and then fix it. And that was like tremendous learning possibility right there. Um, but yeah, just
That's
going
what
through
that
the
slow
slow.
grind does. It gives
Yeah,
you time to pick up more.
that's the problem with the omnipotent being, because he would probably also be omni-intelligence as well. So you can make a decision immediately and it be right, but that's not the way that it works with humans. You have to You have to be very strategic in what you're doing. And man, I got into so many, I don't know about you, but I got into so many different like side hustles and things, like got into wholesale real estate and
Yeah.
all kinds of little odds and ends of ways that I could potentially make money on the side. But I didn't really, they all kind of fizzled out because I didn't feel like my motivations were right. If I wanted to make more money, I don't know, it was really a self-limiting thing, but I felt like I should be putting more effort into, if I just put all the effort that I put into the side hustles as I did put into the main job that I was working at, how much would the situation change?
How much would it pay off?
How much would it pay off? And I did that for a certain extent, but now I'm starting this because it's a whole different, it's not money mindset motivated. Like, is there a financial incentive if it works? Yeah. But it could not work at all and there not be any financial incentive. But like just the idea of helping the folks that where I was at when I needed,
So I'll chime in. So before we spoke about your vision for what you want to build in your life, like
yeah,
challenges you want to face in life that you want to be able to give to others and hopefully give them better tools to navigate the world.
yeah,
And this is a mission you chose, a mission you feel like was possibly give the opportunity to how you originally set up to a black person, a black male, both on this long ride home, and we usually come up with random conversations, but they have some type of something we learned from or information that was passed from one person to another. But we started a conversation one time speaking of a neighborhood where I was from and different ways to navigate it. And lo and behold, Dylan has a vision of wanting to teach all youth how to navigate certain parts of life. And it was interesting. But he's gonna give it to y'all.
so really like I was telling you, I had so many different things that I was just trying to do, but my motivation was poor. And I ended up reading this book by Simon Sinek, and his premise was start with why, like have a real purpose and meaning behind whatever you're doing, and then the how will naturally come if the why is good enough. So if you have a good why, then it can overcome any how. Let's let the old adage would go. But really, there was a time, and even to a certain extent now, where I had potential to give, but I didn't have direction. And I didn't see like a lot of the YouTube people and stuff. It's like there was multiple good ones on like the financial front, but there really wasn't a lot on the psychological front, trying preparing your mindset for what you're going to face going into the workforce, coming out of high school, coming out of college. There wasn't a lot that prepares you for taking on responsibility of adulthood. Like me taking on the responsibility of getting married and having children young.
At what age?
I got married at 18 or 19, and then I had my first child at 20. So,
Was it hard that you made the decision? And you made a decision and went with it early?
yeah, well, I can't really take full credit for that because there's, like, I know people like Lincoln and others that are around us that are really having a struggle in the dating realm today, but I just was blessed with my wife coming into my life at a time where I could meet the demand that she put there, to be a competent person that can provide for her family, and not, we skip the whole live out your 20s and do the crazy partying and the thing that, well, stereotypical stuff. There's a lot of 20-year-olds that don't do that kind of thing, but we just skipped that phase entirely because we wanted to play a better game.
Playing
And
the end game, bro. You're building up with the end game.
yeah, like ultimately, it's like, what is your risk and reward for some of this stuff? Like, I just don't. I never really got the whole. Yeah, I'm gonna go party and do all this and hook up with a bunch of different people, but ultimately, your reward is very, very slim. Like, okay, you might have that one good night, but then you wake up with a hangover. And
Short term.
yeah, it's very, very short term. But what if I told you you could play a game where all the time that you invest into it just gives back to you for the rest of your life? That's what having kids does. And not everybody has the opportunity to do that as young as I did, but I had the opportunity, and me and my wife took the opportunity. So a lot of the things that call you in life to have a lot more responsibility and self-control are like the most rewarding things. But really, my passion is, helping people. Not that I have got there or any sign of way, but just helping people think in other lines of helping introduce new lines of thought that might be closed off based off of perspective.
Right. Help people navigate the
Yeah,
world
so
with
like
different
maybe like whatever situation they're in, they've always felt like having kids and having a good job and being able to hold down income and stuff like that. Maybe that's like not possible for them for some reason psychologically, and maybe there's things that they can think through and perspectives that they can take and positions they can put themselves in to change that.
Yeah. I think there's a quote saying like you elevate your mind and then you can elevate your body.
Yeah,
You gotta know better to do better.
yeah. There's a lot of stuff, and people talk about like manifestation, and really I think the main part of that is, I don't know how much I believe in, you manifest it in your mind and then it just actually happens. I think it's the position that you put your body and mind in to make it more likely for you to actually act on it.
Point yourself in the right direction.
Like, yeah, it's like what are you praying to? Like the last multiple weeks, I've been thinking about starting this, doing a stream, and then making content. It's like, well, I've been kind of praying to the idea of content and putting a lot of mental thought and energy into that. Well, you could say by some definitions I manifested it, but I put a lot of mental energy into it. It's like, what are you putting your mental energy in, for good or for bad? That's what you're praying to in a certain sense. That's what you're putting at the forefront of your mind.
And we spoke about how some people just aren't as capable of doing that because they have other hindrances for whatever reason.
Yeah, it's
whether
like
it's themselves,
cultural.
culture, but it's typically a limitation that someone put on you or you put on yourself because it's not actually there. If you try,
Yeah,
trying, you won't always succeed, but you're gonna get further than you did if you didn't try. So,
yeah. I mean, even from there's a lot of people that experience different types of trauma, and that will like literally cut off whole realms of thought for them. But you know, there's extents where trauma is bad and it cuts off potential, and there's extents where trauma is good. So I feel like the common definition of trauma is like an aversive stimulus that changes your behavior forever. So if a little kid touches a hot stove and they realize that the stove is hot, well, that was traumatic, but they stopped touching the hot stove, and that's not good. That's not good for them. I feel like going from being a kid to being an adult, there's a lot of undoing of trauma, because you learn not to touch the hot stove, but maybe you also learn that you can't trust people, and now you're having trouble with attachment and relationships. Or maybe you also learn that you don't have the best track record yourself of being someone that's you can commit to, and like you don't even trust yourself to. Yeah, I mean, I battle with inconsistency. I will, have like really good thoughts of something to do, and then I just won't. I will start it, but not be consistent. And that is something that I'm trying to work on past many weeks.
Yeah,
Trying to work on.
That's true. I think we all go with. I
Yeah,
constantly trying to work out, but I can go for 3 or 4 days with more consistency. I don't.
yeah,
The motivation it wanes after a while. I
yeah.
start feeling
Well,
sore.
that's when that work starts.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what
that I
really.
think that's the real thing. It's like it will really be a testament for this, because there's going to be, probably the first couple months that it's like, well, this is cool, this is new, we're trying to figure something out.
Right.
But then the motivation's going to die off. There's still going to be no views, and then that's when the work will start. As soon as the motivation leaves, the ability to keep on pushing through and working through the problem is is
And that's a hurdle we spoke about. Some kids never get to reach, like how to when they run to that wall, like jump over it or pound through it. It's just not a wall. It's not a barrier. You can go through this.
Yeah.
It's not an immovable object.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of like components in life that literally force you forward. I feel like there's not a lot of people that just have no obstacles and then they just decide to become better just because.
Right.
That's very, very few people. You have to make an obstacle to try to better yourself. So, like, in my life examples, like, I met Lindsay, my wife, and there was a discrepancy between what I was and what I needed to be to become a good husband to her. And so that was a driving factor to move forward. So that started things like I got a good job and started being able to provide income and cleaning up the parts of my act that weren't straightened out and immature. And then the whole thing happened again, having kids. It's like even more proficient on the job front, even more proficient as a role model and a father figure. So those things force you along. There isn't a lot of that. Like, if you don't have those calls to action in your life, well, you have to do one of the ones that are, the standards, or you have to call something out. It's like you have to pick one for yourself. And that's why I try not to compare myself to, people that are my age too much or even younger than me. It's like, well, they're not married and they're not doing this. What the heck is their call to action? What is driving them to be better? It's like probably nothing if they haven't put a thought into it.
A lot of people, the drive to get better doesn't come until, like you said, till you have that hospital that you want to be better for. Because I have a similar situation with my fiance, my wife now, prior fiance. Like she was more put together than me. Like she already had a good credit score. She's comparing hers to mine. She's asking, how do you manage money? How do you, why don't you have a license? Because I didn't have a license like 3 years ago. I didn't have my license because I got it suspended maybe when I was like 26 because I was driving too fast, didn't go to court. And my big-headed / pig-headedness said, this is my first ticket. It won't harm me. There's no harm.
Big-headed / pig-headed.
Yeah, I've never been in trouble, so I know this won't hurt me. But that first ticket ended up getting the license revoked, gave me a warrant. I never had a warrant prior. And this was like an obstacle. She was curious why I didn't try to handle it before it became a warrant, before it became anything else. And my idea was, my lawyer said it was woeful ignorance because I just assumed it would get better. And I accepted that because it was absolutely that. And when she opened my eyes to how I was being complacent, I got my license the next week. I didn't have a warrant. I bought 2 cars the past 2 years. Like, my credit score jumped 100 points.
Yeah.
I try to keep at least 500 in the bank for like at any time. That was a standard that we trying to build because we want to achieve more. But at the time, I was cool being complacent.
Yeah, so that's a big one. Like you said, woeful ignorance. I feel like there's been a lot of times in my life where if you really like sat down and like started stabbing me with like a little prick needles, it's like, what do you need to do right now?
Right.
It's like, I knew
I knew that, but
I knew what I needed to be doing. I just didn't want to do it. And if you guise it with that ignorance, like I don't like I know I should look this up and I know I should try to dive into this a little bit more. But if I do, then my little fake bliss state will go away. And I feel like so many people live in that. Like,
or now I got to do the real work.
or like credit card debt up to the ceiling. It's like, and then I've met people that just like
just push to the side.
Push to the side. That's not like I'm not going to pay attention to that. And they got so much chaos around them that there is no way that they can create order. Like I knew a guy, and I won't say his name on air, but he wanted to create all these things and make businesses and do this or do that, but he had so much chaos in his personal life and like the elements of structure that should have been there would be no way. Like you're building your foundation on sand.
Right.
Like that's the whole.
He's trying to build the fifth floor.
Yeah, he had these fifth floor dreams, but the foundation wasn't set, and it wasn't just not set; it was on a slope. So everything's just sliding out.
Trying to figure out why
and then he'll throw some rocks up, and then they'll slide all down, and it was just a repetitive cycle. And man, that woeful ignorance that will get you. You even see that in children. They will try to act like they're not capable of doing something, and that would be like trained incompetence.
Exactly.
If you allow your kids to do,
I know if I do this, they'll help me out. Like,
yeah, if he's like, your kid falls, and to a certain extent, you should help them, depending on how hard they fall. But if every time they fall, you immediately rush to them, they're not going to learn how to get back up. They're going to be like, oh, I fell, let me cry, so mama will come get me, or dada will come get me.
Let me go get my crutch.
They don't need those crutches. As a parent, you need to train them for long-term success, not just their short-term whims. And whatever happens in the media.
Keep them on track. Like, no.
Yeah, I think about my kids when they're 20. It's like, well, what am I doing now that's going to help them in development for when they're older? And not letting them get away with things that I know that they're capable of. That's one that I think of a lot. But insofar as I do that now as an adult, and that's one of those paradigm shifts that you have to have, is you have to be the regulator of yourself. It's like, so when are you not pushing yourself hard enough? When are you crying and asking for a handout? And that's something that, like, I think that's a lot of my thought process of creating this. It's like, oh, I want to be more financially successful. Oh, I want to impact people. Oh, I want to be the person that I wish I had when I was, coming out of high school. And all these sorts of things, all these dreams and all these problems. Oh, I want to be the person that can help the people that don't have fathers in their home. And like that freaking bugs the crap out of me, that there's so many kids that are growing up without fatherly role models in the home. It annoys the crap out of me that there's so many men that are okay with leaving their child as not a role model in the home. So that speaks to like a lot of the peers and all the kids that are the victim of that.
It's a sad trend.
And that's something that I want to be a part of and try to help. So, but all that means is more responsibility that I have to put back onto myself to really dial in and make sure that my close-knit thing is good. So that way, maybe long-term propagation of my children and stuff will be beneficial and good.
Like I told you, so at one point I feel like, since like my nature is to like want to help and reach and like try to make someone better, like that's just my nature. At one point I felt like healthcare or trying to like help the youth like reach the next level, or not economically, but more mentally and
Psychologically.
psychologically, like, because most of us put barriers up for ourselves before we even realize it, and then like, and we're on a track, and it's like you don't know how to get off, but it's like you put yourself on the track. So for me, like, eventually that fizzled out because I feel like maybe I can impact some lives, but I feel like it'd be more beneficial for me if I tried to influence the ones closer to me, and maybe they influence the ones close to them, and that's my version of making the world around me better. Like,
Yeah.
from the inside, like with my bunch, hopefully they influence a bunch, and they influence a bunch, like that. That's how
Yeah. Well,
I
I certainly subscribe to that. And there's like, well, I mean, even even you have passages in the Bible that will talk about like before you try to peck out a smote in your brother's eye, you need to take out the beam in your own eye. It's like you can't be trying to help people whenever you don't have your stuff yourself. And I want to come off more like a Socrates than like a doctorate and figuring everything out. This is just like uh, almost a documented example of me trying to get out of you know, the normal, to step out and see if I can create a channel and see if I can actually have an impact and um, help people along broad scale. But all that does the exact same thing where it forces you to, be the person that can actually do that. It forces you to grow.
Yeah.
And those are the things that you gotta cling to. You have like a
So I don't have kids yet, but my constant thought pattern is trying to be the best person I can be.
yeah.
Like a lot of times I won't do stuff because it's like I call it integrity, but my wife calls it something different. But it's like what do I do when I'm by myself, or when it's like that one person in the hallway? Am I gonna help? Like, that's how my brain usually correlates. Because in most situations, when I'm the person in the hallway and I'm looking for help, they just look at me and keep walking.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like my nature is to go in. But in return, I usually don't get that, so it's always a fight myself type of thing. Like, how much do I give that nobody else gives?
Yeah. I read an article. I'm not sure how true it is, but man, she's like the most famous saint. That is ridiculous that I can't recall her name.
I was definitely saying Mother Teresa.
Yeah, Mother Teresa.
That's
it.
funny.
Yeah, that's it. There was a whole article about her late in life. She felt like a semi sort of depression, and she almost felt like she had given too much and not like even acknowledged herself at all. So all she was giving, and you know we can't, unfortunately, since she's passed, we can't go ask her, but there probably is a dichotomy to that, because even in the Bible, when Jesus would walk around, he would, you know, do something to prevent something from happening. Like when all the people were gonna stone the. I really need to get better with the names, but there was a lady that was caught in an adulterous act, and they were gonna stone her because that's what they did at the time. And Jesus said, "Him without sin cast the first stone." Cast the first stone. Then it says he starts writing in the sand, and I think he was writing out the sins of all the people that were standing there about to throw stones, but it doesn't say that explicitly. But I think that would be pretty cool if he did do that. But then, so he gave her that gift, and like he saved her life, but then he told her, go and sin no more. So like, on the one hand, there was the mercy, but on the other hand, it was you need to do better. So it's not like you can't always give the handout. You can't always be the giving. Like that's a lot of the problem with the government system now. You got the people that are really, you need to give to all these people. And then you got the people who's like, been given to them for a long time, and now they're abusing the system. So you got the eternal draw, the eternal tug of war of too much empathy and too much grit.
And
It's where it's the middle.
Yeah, we spoke about we are polar opposite when it comes to not polar, because you show me how our political views are similar, but when I voted Democrat because it felt right, honestly.
Yeah.
Democrat usually felt right. The verbiage,
yeah, well, I think that's the whole. I feel like if you're not super deeply involved in politics, then voting Democratic would almost feel like the empathy play. It's like, well, this is the group that cares about everybody, you know. But then you gotta get into how the group inclusivity cares about everybody, like everybody. But then you have to look at, well, how are they gonna care about you? Okay, then you have to break down policy. It's like, well, what policy is really better to care about everybody? If not suggesting like in the Bill Clinton era, you know, he had a really good economy under him, but typically the economies haven't done as well in the recent years under a Democratic president versus a Republican president. So then he's like, well, what's better for everybody? A better economy or more government handouts? Or you have to play the back and forth. Like, what is really the best, and for who?
Because right now, I feel like Trump is like a unifying force for a certain set of people. Like every group that falls under his wing is not the same volition, but I feel like he stokes a certain fire.
Oh, yeah.
And when it comes to the Democratic Party, I feel like typically prior to Joe Biden, like when I was listening to debates, their topics of conversation, their rhetoric, they were targeting me, and I felt like I would get results from voting for certain people.
Yeah.
But when the results don't come, it's like, okay,
yeah.
What the fuck? Why? Question.
the left has actually gone farther left, so they're being more inclusive. They're more pro all the categories that they were pro, like abortion and the LGBTQ community and all that stuff. And then, even to the extent on the far the right where it was has just shifted over to where the left was like 30 years ago.
No, it's still wrong. It's just your face not moving. Right. So the left, like far left, and the right moved towards the middle.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. And you can go back and look up videos of Hillary Clinton talk about border patrol like 20 years ago, and you'll see Clinton saying we need to have a strong border. You don't have a country without a strong border. Now it's like completely opposite.
I feel like around that time they were trying to combat, like they were trying to be more combative and backfire because they lost their direction, and now it's like they I don't feel like there's a main direction for Democrats. Everybody shoots this way, that way, backwards, forwards, like really far left in the middle.
Yeah,
and it's just so muddy.
I would say that there's a similar dichotomy with the Republicans too, because you have, and it's sad that everything's so divisive, but really there's like percent of the entire population that's like absolutely insane, narcissistic, Machiavellian, dark tech traits. They really just are out for themselves and don't like people. Mm-hmm. And those 2% on the right and the 2% on the left are the ones that are doing 80% of the talking.
Yeah, that's the issue.
And
that's the issue.
You go and on the very far extreme right, you could have radical racist people. Mm-hmm. Because it's just, they didn't want to vote Democratic because they've had black opportunities like Obama and then Kamala Harris. They just wouldn't vote for a black woman. So there's those kinds of people that are on the far right. But then you have people that want to enshrine transgenderism amongst youth.
Or let every
on the left. Or let
every immigrant in. Like without
and
no
I almost am less upset about that, because if you're not very deep thoughted, you can say, well, these people need help too, and they should be able to come in and have a better life. So I could see an empathy play there, but the mutilation of children where they have sex change surgeries before they are old enough to make basic life decisions, and in some blue states even try to take children away from parents because the child is confused and thinks that it's a different gender versus what the parents are saying what it was born as. That is crazy. I can't imagine someone really deep down thinking that cutting off appendages of a child is right.
No, honestly, I don't feel like that'd be people either. That 2% that's absolutely crazy and that will scream to the top of their lungs about what they believe, even if they're wrong. And then there's the ones pandering to get that vote. Panders.
Yeah, and that's another sad part. It's like, this is my opinion. It's probably from a negative side, and the Republicans do it a lot too, especially for gun rights and stuff like that. But I see more policy change to pander to ideology on the left than I do on the right, and I'll explain what I mean. And maybe it's because the right essentially already panders to an ideology. It's just Christianity, and it's been around for longer. So technically, it already has a foundation, and it just panders to that. So we can say indoctrination of ideology, and it was like indoctrination of biblical values, and it's like, well, technically, we are trying to indoctrinate children with biblical values. That's just because we believe they're right. So then you have to have the whole argument about what values are right. So I can see it, but there's extremes, though. It's like, even if maybe a child, a person, an adult, thinks that they're in the wrong body, well, they need to be an adult to make such a decision.
Yeah, or make the change.
Yeah, to make
You
the
can dress
change.
how you want to dress. Like, that ain't hurt nothing.
But a small child, they can't. They hardly can. If you give them 25 options of different clothes to wear in the morning, they'll just be freaking flabbergasted by that, and they won't know what to choose because it's too many options. If you have a little 5-year-old boy go and put their line on the board of their introspection between girl and boy, how much boy are they versus how much girl are they? It's like, what happened to just being a tomboy or being a feminine guy? You know, in touch with his feelings. Yeah, it's like, oh, I just like dressing nice. It's like, what happened to that?
Yeah, that middle ground. So you find yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna be right here. Like,
It's
it's not even middle ground. It's like representing what you feel like to be represented.
Now it's almost to the extent that, like, if your daughter wants to play tough sports, it's like, well, now it's like, well, what are you? Are you gonna let this happen? And like back in the day, you didn't have to worry about that. She just wants to play softball. Just let her play softball. She just wants to. She wants to play baseball.
She wants to play t-ball with the boys. Let her play.
Yeah, she wants to play t-ball with the boys. She's good at it.
Right.
Like, let her play.
They're not strong. They all kids right now.
Yeah, they all kids. She's got another couple years before she can dominate them.
Yeah, she gonna start first.
Yeah, she's gonna be the and just see Elsie pitching now, but then, or vice versa. If a boy wants to dance, then you got to worry about stuff like being introduced to, you know, like an ideology that tries to force them into a mold.
Yeah, to be more feminine. Like, I like to dance.
Like,
I didn't say
I want to dance, but I'm not interested in guys. It's like, that's not what I said.
I just like when that lady did the a leotard or whatever it's called.
Yeah, the twirl.
Cool. Yeah, that's leotard. Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, it was a good conversation. I don't even think it's working anymore.
It is. The time's going down. It just is.
The time's going down, but my face is frozen. So, this is Dylan James Gross, and we'll be doing these lives, maybe, I don't know how many times per week. We'll get into that, and then we'll be doing long form content on YouTube and hopefully making some shorts. And if you're interested in growing and learning and developing and trying to come across better mindsets for your future and having that tenacity to go after your dreams, well, you can hang out with us as we actually try to make something happen in real time.
Right. Today's special guest was Nikos White on the side of the camera, but you know,
we'll figure out the camera situation. This is real rough. I got some microphones, but they're in process.
Yeah, it's the first trial. We're gonna see how it goes. Hope y'all enjoyed it.
Thank you.